Yeah.
You're good.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to That's What She Said.
Hi.
Hi. Sort of live from my living room. Not live, but you know, you get it. We're together.
We're live together.
We
Yeah.
are live together. How's everybody?
We're good.
We're good. I'm glad to hear. We have a guest on the floor. I don't know if you can see him or not. Say
You'll
hello,
see
David.
his hands sneak in and grab an M&M every once in a while.
Yeah, there he goes.
He's gonna miss and reach into that candle at some point. So.
Yes, I know. Should we keep it on or should we blow it?
Yeah, you know that's how they learn.
I'm good with that. You're right. There's David. We have got some crazy weather today. It was cold yesterday. It was warm the day before that. Today is like
70.
Right,
It
it's
says
sunny.
about 70 on Thursday.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about that on the way over. It's like we're not getting to wear all our cool winter clothes,
No.
our heavy sweaters. And
all this snuggly
No,
stuff.
it's
Yeah.
all sitting on a shelf in my closet, and I'm like, maybe next year. And it stinks because it's like I like to purge my closet at the end of a season, and so I do a thing where like if I haven't worn it, it'll be in a certain spot, and then I know that okay, I didn't wear it this season. I really have to decide if I keep it. But I keep looking at these sweaters, and I'm like, I can't. Even though I haven't worn you, it's because I don't want to. It's because it hasn't been cold enough. So I feel like I have to hold on to them, and it stinks.
It does stink. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, things that you haven't worn, because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm lazy when it comes to my clothing. I wash the same stuff over again, and then I wear it, and when the basket is empty, I'll wash it over
my
again.
God,
So my
me
closet
too.
is full of stuff that's collecting dust because it's just not on my radar.
I bought a new jacket at the beginning of the winter because I had this old, it had to have been 30 years old, that I used to walk dogs with when I first got it. And it was an Eddie Bauer jacket. It was great, but I mean it was fringed at the edges.
You can tell
I
when something's
decided
well
to
loved.
find, you know, I just loved it, but I found one that I thought would make a nice replacement. It's much too heavy.
Oh.
It's like good for 40 below. It's so, as soon as I put it on, I sweat. And the hood can't be detached,
Oh,
which
well.
really bothers me.
Yeah, I hate
because
that.
there is this, and of course it's fur lined, so I'm looking like an Eskimo.
But it's good for cold weather.
It's very
If
cold.
we ever get that
If
again.
it ever comes again, Martha will be
Upset.
set.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
we could have gone up to Vermont. It was whenever it was a little chilly. It was 11 degrees below zero where my brother
Holy
lives,
cow.
with a wind chill of minus 33.
Oh
I
my
will not
God.
even go outside. I agree with
Exactly,
you.
I would.
I can't.
Like you will find me under my covers.
Yup.
Don't bother me.
Hiding because I'm never coming
I'm
out.
not
It's
coming
okay.
to work. I'm not doing anything else.
There's a couple nights that were really, really cold, remember a couple of days? Barry and I both started wearing caps to bed.
That's so funny.
But it's
Because
And Ma in her kerchief, and I in my cap.
I wear a cap every night. I wear a bonnet. Because if not, I'll wake up with my hair wrapped around my neck, choking me.
but my daughter sent Barry like a black
Like
cap.
a beanie,
to pull
sort
on,
of?
like a beanie kind
Like
of
skull cap thing,
pull it
yeah.
in. And on the top it has a red bird. The first night he wore this, I got awake in the middle of the night. What's the bird now? So I mean, it's very unnerving to wake
Oh
up
my
to this
goodness.
man you've
That's
been sleeping with for
hysterical.
45 years, and now he's got a bird on his head.
And now I just need a picture.
I know, I need to see this hat. Have you ever actually had a bird in your house?
Well, no,
Yes.
I didn't. Oh yeah, we've had bats.
Bats,
Oh,
oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, I've had. Well, one night when we were filming,
You have.
and I had a
Oh
bat.
bats in
my
the
gosh,
house?
that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I started before we were zooming it, and before we started
Oh, I do
actually
remember this.
recording, I said,
Yes.
"You may have to bleep me because of."
Because if a bat comes shooting over your head, you're gonna flip out.
And then I watched it afterwards, and it was so funny because I was like,
You were looking for it.
the three of you didn't react at all, and I was like, okay, where is it?
That's so funny.
My brother had watched it, and he said, Rusty, you look like a bit of a jerk.
Like spazzing all over because of
Yeah,
that flying around. That is just, I've never had any animals creep in,
Oh.
but I did see on Instagram the other day, a friend of mine had a squirrel break into her house. And this squirrel destroyed
Oh, they are
everything. It was
awful.
running up and down the stairs and knocked
Yeah.
all her plants over, her pictures on her walls. And it
Oh,
was like
that's-
climbing on the frame. This girl
Yeah.
was ate. I caught
Yeah.
myself. You saw what I almost said? You
Well
saw
done.
how I almost said that, but
You
I didn't.
self-beeped.
I did self-censor that. That was good of me. Look at me
Yes,
doing big
wow.
things.
There's,
Yeah,
I've
this
seen
squirrel
I've
destroyed
seen a
everything.
video of this guy who has, I guess, raised a squirrel from a baby.
Yes.
And he'll come home and like the squirrel doesn't destroy his house, I guess, because it's been taught. But he'll
It's
he'll stand
domesticated.
he'll stand away from where the table is and he'll go like this and the squirrel will jump and then he'll like grab it like this and he'll throw the squirrel and then he'll go back and then he'll jump again and I'm like,
I don't think fetch with a squirrel like that.
I don't like squirrels enough to even
No,
wanna
I get
consider that.
close.
We had one in the
No.
house one time, the middle of the night, we had a lab that would sleep at the foot of on our bed. Except they got me awake, and I noticed that she was lying there, but she was awake and she was going. Absolutely fascinated, and I realized what was fascinating was a
Squirrel running
bat.
at. Oh, a bat.
Yeah, that's it. Now,
She didn't want to do
I-
anything
my
about
cat
it, she just wanted to watch
Well,
it.
that's
Like,
so
wow,
funny.
that's pretty cool in the middle of the night, whatever that is.
So I had a cat who twice jumped up and knocked the bat down.
Wow.
She was
Wow.
amazing. It was like, good girl.
That's pretty swift.
That is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my cat would not knock the bat down. He'd probably sit with it and play with it
Well, that's like my neighbor,
and mangle it because that's how he does.
a friend of mine who had a mouse in the house, and she had a cat, and she said, "Oh, the cat's gonna get it," and the mouse walks right over. The cat's sitting with his paws out. The mouse walks right over, and the cat's just. And she's
Beyond
just
your
there
way.
saying, What are you?
That's called a lucky strike for the animal that
Right?
could have done it.
That is
Thank
that
you,
is
lucky
a
stars.
brave mouse.
Very
Or
brave.
stupid.
Or stupid, yeah, maybe a little of both. My cat has caught several mice in our house now.
Really?
He's a good little
All
mouser,
right.
yeah.
Good boy.
He's caught several.
I don't think I've had any mice, but I don't know because sometimes Rizzo makes noises and
Oh.
I'm like, please don't do
Well, as long
whatever
as
you
she
think. I like if it's a
as long
ghost,
as
an
she doesn't
animal, I
like
don't care.
drop it on your pillow or something as a gift, that would.
Out the door, both of them.
When I was a
the
teenager,
mouse and the cat.
that happened to me.
You
We
got
had
a
a cat.
present?
We had a cat, Tyler. I think I've said this before. He caught a mouse, brought it into my room, shut the door, and then let the mouse go on my bed. And I wake up to, and then as the
Oh.
cat followed, I was like, "Ah!" And I start screaming, and my
would
parents come in the
die.
room and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Something crawled on me!" And we look down, and there's Tyler, and he's sitting there with the mouse dangling out of his mouth, and it's like doing this, and I was like, "I'm done!" It was.
That's funny.
Oh, I was
I was
traumatized.
gonna say I would be
Yeah.
trying if I would ever
Traumatized.
sleep again in that room.
I shut my door after that. I was like,
You're not
no.
allowed
Like,
to
I
go.
love
You're
you,
not
cat, but
allowed.
no. That door was shut tight every night.
Yeah, that's terrifying. That's funny though.
That's
That's
funny though.
It's
That is
funny.
really
Don't
jarring to come out of, and you're just like, you're in a dead sleep, and you're just like, doo, 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 doo,
I bet you felt it for months after that.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah,
Itchy
like
all the time, probably.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
That's gross.
PTSD, man. There's ugh. Just, little diseased mouse paws running around my face. Ugh.
No, be
Gross.
nice. They're not all diseased.
They're mostly
No.
diseased.
I know. I like mice though. I think they're cute.
So-
I don't want them in here, but I think they're cute.
See, my coworker, he just got a couple mice for the ag department, and the kids are all playing. They're like, aren't they cute? I'm like, yeah, they're vermin.
They're gross. Big animals eat those.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? They need to
Right.
be fed to the snakes. There they are.
You know, that's funny that you mentioned that because a friend of mine has a snake and she bought rats to feed it, and then the
Right.
snake wouldn't eat it, so now they have pet rats. The snake did not want to eat it for whatever reason, so they kept it, and they're like, we love these rats. We're so glad they didn't get eaten.
Oh.
See, now rats, when raised right, are they're like very intelligent animals.
Disgusting.
And well, yeah, I have no interest, but I'm told that they're very intelligent. They're very they're very affectionate.
They're very
Mhm.
clean.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're actually really clean. And none of this has convinced me to ever want a rat in my
No.
life, but it's still interesting to know.
I had a roommate for one semester at Penn State who had a white rat for a pet.
In the
Oh, they're
dorm?
creepy.
Yeah.
They have pink eyes.
Queenie.
Well, you're not allowed to have pets in the dorm?
Well, you could at that time. And we had,
Queen might be the reason it's not allowed anymore.
She changed that rule.
she was just, I hated her because
Because of her
she
red
would-
eyes.
She was very clean, she was always cleaning herself. But the way our dorm was built, which at that time was a new dorm, there was a closet and a closet, room to room. And between the closets was a pipe underneath, and I guess for ventilation or whatever. So you could go from, and it was under the door, so it was like a baseboard under the door.
Okay.
So she could go from one room to the next,
Oh.
And every once in a while,
She would
Queenie would
creep
get
in.
out, and from, way down the hall, we'd hear, "Rat is in my room."
Somebody
And
flipping
then
out.
Jenny would have to go get Queenie, but
Oh,
I actually-
Queenie. That's a cute name.
That's like some
She was
Hogwarts level
actually-
crap right there.
she was actually a much better roommate than.
She was better than her human. Keep Queenie, get rid of her mom.
Exactly.
I think that's a rite of passage, though. I had a terrible freshman year roommate. It was all uphill from there, but she was the worst.
I did my first year freshman,
Yeah.
freshman roommate.
Was
Didn't wash
terrible.
her clothes.
Oh.
She came from a very wealthy family,
And she wanted to be smelly.
and we got along just
Probably
fine.
didn't
But
know.
in spring, I noticed I walked in her room one warm day. I was like,
Well,
"What?"
got like a kick in the gut,
And I
right?
had noticed that, or we had friends that weren't coming into our room anymore. And I said to her, do you smell anything? And she didn't. So, So I really waited and put up with it for a couple of weeks. It just got worse and worse as the weather got warmer. And I would never have touched any of her things. But finally one day I was there in her room, she was in class, and I opened her closet door. And when
Ew.
she ran out of underwear, she just bought new underwear.
What?
Why she didn't throw the old out, I don't know.
Oh, she didn't throw the old. Oh no.
No.
That's a mental disorder.
Yeah.
That has to be.
It was a poor little rich girl, I have no idea what to,
Oh,
Why was
nobody
she
ever told her how
she
to
was
wash
used
her
to somebody
clothes.
else doing her laundry all the time.
You're right.
right?
Wow.
Like,
And I
this,
understand
I don't
buying
understand.
new
This
stuff,
just
but-
disappears and comes back clean. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Hey, listen, some people are completely lost when they go to college. Like,
They are.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
kids that are like,
She
their
was.
parents do everything for them. When they
Yeah.
get out on their own, it's like major culture shock.
And that's the problem. Like, too many parents don't realize that you're not raising kids, you're raising future adults. So you need to
so when
act
you don't
accordingly.
teach them
Like,
stuff, you're raising like a complete moron sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember working in a
incapable.
restaurant that had a rug and we had to vacuum at the end of the night. And I was training this one girl and I said, well, we have to vacuum over here. And she just looked at me and I said, well, the vacuum's over there. And she stood there. And so I walked over and I got it. And I said, here you go. And she goes, well, I don't know how
She didn't even know what it was.
yeah. You plug it in. Okay, she plugged it in, and then she's still standing there, and I
The simplest of things, and you had to show her how
said,
to.
turn it on, and then we turned it on, and she just walked around. See that mess over there? You need to pick that up.
Suck
And so
the
she
mess
goes to
up.
bend over. It's like
It's like a
"What's
comedy
the
skit.
vacuum for?"
That's
But
terrible.
she seriously, she had never ever used a vacuum.
You have a lot of patience. I would have been like, just give it to me. I'll do it. Just
I
give me
was,
that.
I almost, and then I said, no, because then I'll be stuck vacuuming every day. So, it's your turn, you're a low man.
that's
I would have vacuumed one corner of the room. This is how you do this. Now watch. Pay attention
Yeah.
for 2 seconds, and now here.
See, that was the big complaint I had between me and my sister, because growing up, I had to work in the apartments. My parents owned apartments, I had to work in them. So I'd be
Cleaning
set
and
down,
stuff.
yeah, starting like at the age of 13. They would drop me off with my supplies. So I would have
What?
paint rollers, I would have cleaning supplies, I would have
Oh.
spackle.
She was all
everything.
alone.
So at that age, I would go into an apartment, I would scrub the bathrooms, scrub the kitchens. If we had to scrub the carpets, so I'd have that with me too, and then I'd paint all the walls. Did all of
Wow.
that. If there was spackling to be done, I could do the spackling. I could change locks.
I'm hiring you.
I could do all of this.
Wow.
And then I would beg my parents, I'd be like, please let me get a job at the mall this summer. Can I have a job at the mall? And my parents would be like, no,
Well,
you're like our
to work retail.
yeah, you're like our best worker. Yeah.
Work.
And then my dad would be like, I'll give you another $2 pay raise. And I, he paid me under the table, so I wasn't paying taxes. So in the 90s, I was getting like, $12 an hour under the table, paying no taxes.
That's
So I was
just
like,
pretty good.
yeah, I was like, I can't pass
Especially
this
at that
up.
age.
Yeah.
But it was, I would come home just disgusting, just
Filthy,
stinking and
sweaty.
filthy because, these people would leave these apartments
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
If they were evicted, they'd leave, my favorite was the diiper bombs, where they just take
Stop
dirty
it.
diapers and leave them in the middle of the room to just stink up.
That's disgusting.
And there's no air conditioning, yeah. And then, I'd come home and there were days that I would just walk down the hill and just go straight into the pool. So I'm like, I need chlorine to start to wash. And then my best friend would call.
disinfect you.
Yeah, my best friend would call me and she'd be like, I worked a 4-hour shift at the Gap today and I had to fold like 100 shirts. It was the worst. I'm like, was it really? Was that the worst part of your day? I'm like,
I wouldn't even justify that with an answer.
so then I age out and I go to college.
I took away 20 diaper bombs.
I was like, let me tell you how my day was. So then I aged out, I go to college, and, my sister comes of age to do apartment work.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I find out that she's working at Idlewild Amusement Park in the soak zone. And I'm like, how come she's not in the apartments? And my dad was like, oh, she was terrible. We had her paint one room, and it was awful. We had to take her off.
She did that on purpose.
Yes, that's what she said.
Thank
She
you,
was
job
like,
on purpose.
she was like,
didn't want
was
to do
I
it.
bad at painting or was I a genius? I'm like, I hate you so much. I'm so mad at you.
She's a genius. That's what you guys are doing. You should have just wrapped it up too, and then you would have been folding shirts at the Gap.
I know. All I had to do was mess up one thing, like make one toilet blow up or something, and I could have been folding shirts at the Gap.
Soap zone at Iowa.
Working at the gym soap zone in Iowa.
That is so funny.
I had to shift to the soap zone. I'm like, shut up.
She did that on purpose. That's
That way
amazing.
when we were teaching too. If you did a really bad job, if you were assigned to lunch duty and you did a really bad job of it, you never got it again. I was really good. I had 4 years in a row.
Oh,
My partner, lunch proctor, and I, we were so good. The kids hated us.
that's kind of the sign of a good lunch line. Is that like the kids don't really like it. They don't get away with anything.
One teacher had never just didn't want to ever give those achievement tests or whatever we gave.
Yeah.
I don't know what tests they were giving, but we had to read a paragraph to kids at 9 o'clock. And then they took another test. And then they came back and answered questions about the paragraph we read to them. So it was all on their list.
It's like retention, yeah.
Except that she never read the paragraph.
Oh no.
So when the kids came back to those questions, they had no idea what they were about. She never had to give the test again.
Really?
Yeah.
That
Because
doesn't
her
seem
room
fair.
got really, their scores tanked because of that one test. They had no idea. She just never read it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, it worked in teaching.
For the teachers that work hard, it's here's one more thing, here's one more
Right.
thing.
That's everywhere. That's even in the corporate world.
Yeah.
If you do a good job, you get
Yeah.
piled ones. Everyone else gets away with murder.
Right.
My duty right now is at the end of the day, I have to go out and stand and make sure that cars don't go the wrong way down the hill while the buses are leaving, to cause like a major accident.
And breathe in all those fumes.
That's
Good
that's
job.
that's
All
the
the bus
least
things,
part of my
right?
problems. So I stand there, and I'm supposed to stand there. There's a do not enter sign right there, and the parents are the worst. They'll drive by and look at me, and they're like,
Yeah.
Hit the bus.
so today, this kid and his this smug little 17-year-old in a car that he should not be driving because it's too good for him. Like, why is any kid not driving a crap car? Like that, you should be driving a crap car. So he comes around this gray little vroom vroom, and he starts to come the wrong way, and I had it. I had a rough day, and I'm like, no, today,
He's
sir,
getting it.
no.
He's
I
gonna get
jumped
it.
in the middle of the road, and I went, "You shall not pass, you piece of crap!" And I'm like kicking. I'm like, "Do not enter! Can you read? Can you read?"
Oh
and
my God.
he stops and he backs up and he rolls down his window and he goes, "You know what? Respect. I'm gonna go the right way and I won't do it again." I was like, "Yes, you will, though. Yes, you will."
He was still living even after he was gone.
But that's that's what I do every day.
I would too.
I joke to the kids. I'm like, "Well, it's time for my duty to go get flipped off by parents as they go the wrong way down the hill. I can't do anything to stop them." That's my job.
That's annoying.
It's super annoying.
Be
So-
bad at it. Let them go.
Well, whenever it's raining, I don't go out. So if it's raining outside, I go, "Oh, sorry."
Good luck to all of you. Yeah. Good luck,
I melt.
everybody. I hope nothing happens out there.
I
but I'm
mailed,
inside,
sorry.
too.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that we're asked to do on a regular day. That's where my life is at.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's like not teacher duty.
No, it's dumb.
That's like parking attendant. Don't they? It's like traffic
Well,
directors.
I also kind of think that it's like, Nicole, we kind of crapped on you last semester, so we're going to give you this duty where when you do it, great, and when you don't, we're not really going to come after you. So when it's raining, I don't go out.
And they don't say anything.
And they haven't said anything yet.
Good.
Please don't be watching anybody.
Don't be reporting her.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there is something to be, when you do your job really well, after a couple of years, you do build in some, you put some stuff in the bank here, because I found that I really worked hard and I did all kinds of all-school projects and all kinds of extra things that I didn't get paid for. And then the last couple of years I was there, I sort of took advantage of what I had banked as far as goodwill was concerned, so.
Sometimes you have to.
So I just would get cabin fever the last year I was here. I just couldn't stand being in the building for so long. And because I had an office with no windows now.
Oh,
so
wow.
Oh,
because it was open to the hall and there were always kids coming in and out. But my prep period, I would sign out to go to bank. We had automatic banking. But my favorite drive was to Blandon and then down to Boyertown and around the long way and up through Lake Antietam, Bernhardt's Dam, and back to Gilbert. And I could do that during my prep period.
Oh my
gosh.
Walking in as the bell rang, I was signing in the bank.
That's
I might even
hilarious.
have my wallet out.
I don't even know if I'd have the guts to do that, but now I
would
want to
definitely-
try.
I
I want to see how
definitely
far I
would
can
have
get
the
my
guts to
planning
do that.
period.
I was never late. I never took more than my prep period.
That's
And I did a
magic.
lot of creative thinking while I was doing that. So.
a nice mental health break.
Yeah.
It was a mental health break, which I think we
Everybody.
need to think more about. And I
Mhm.
think John Fetterman, not to want to change the subject, but I think John Fetterman, bless his heart, I hope this wakes people up to realize great people ask for help.
Yes, that's the way to say it. That's exactly
Yes.
the way to say it. Yeah, I'm so proud of him
I
and
too.
Giselle.
Yes.
And, depression is a common symptom, side effect of a stroke, post-stroke. It's a
Sure,
very
'cause
common.
it's like a brain injury type
Right,
thing.
exactly. Your brain is refiguring out all its wiring.
Right.
And I love that. Yes, strong people
Yes.
ask for help. And I love that he is doing this. It's important. And yeah, I send
And I
all of my positive thoughts to them.
and he's gotten really good support. I haven't read anything snotty.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
been
but-
snotty.
There
Oh,
definitely
that's
has
up,
been.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it,
Facebook
but
is the place
Oh,
for that.
sure.
Oh,
I don't do Facebook,
Twitter.
but I
Well,
saw
Twitter,
that
I can't even imagine.
the
I deleted
congressmen
that.
of all of the Congress members from both parties.
The
were
important
giving
people are
support.
giving
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
That's
great.
important.
There's always gonna be people that have like bad things to say about stuff like that, but, if they were in the same position, they'd be asking for help too.
And that's the problem that I have because,
These are
you.
people that don't understand.
Well, yeah, and as a politician, to deride another politician or somebody who's reached out and asked for help, it's like, okay, you did this, I don't know, to gain political points or to get your little, clip on a news channel or whatever. But then there's people in your life that are watching you do this, and they need help, and now they're less likely to ask you for help.
Because
And you've
you made a
created
fool out of them.
You've created a situation where you're bringing more heartache potentially to your family because you're so consumed by getting a gotcha on that other person that you forget that there's people that you love that might be going through this too. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, you're so
Would they have the
consumed with
same
your
nasty things to say if it was one of their loved ones?
exactly, and that's the biggest issue that I have.
I read the other day that teenage girls are having far more serious problems with depression than they have had in the past.
I think that's accurate, and I also think that social media has a huge role in
Oh,
that.
absolutely, I didn't even mention that.
Social media,
They
I
can't
think,
get away
and
from
not even just teenage girls, like teenage boys also.
See,
are
and
struggling
yes,
right now.
we're
Uh-oh.
discounting the teenage boys, and I'm telling you, they're struggling too.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this semester, I finally did it. I said, no cell phones in class.
Good.
I
You
outlawed
have
them.
to.
Good.
It's a different world in my class.
Oh.
They're
Yeah,
engaged, they're trying, and
when I held my rehearsals, I used to make them put every phones in a basket. I'm like, you can have these on
Right,
break
that's what
time and
I
at
was
the
just gonna
end.
say, I did a program out of school
Yeah.
that teacher had a big basket, they just
Mhm.
put their phones in and.
it's made a huge difference. I
Smart.
think that all schools should pass phones free in class. Like,
Phone is like an addiction.
it is an
These
absolute
kids like
addiction.
that
Have their
it.
face in their phone all day,
Yeah.
every day.
I think it's a good idea for kids to have phones, and I didn't feel that way until Columbine. You know,
Yeah,
when
for
we
stuff like
realized
that, it
that
definitely is very
those
important.
kids need to have phones, but
But they shouldn't be looking at them.
there's a responsibility to
There's a-
having them, and you have to assume.
It's good to have phones
Right.
for what they need it for, not to have their noses stuck in it.
And their
looking
parents-
at social media all the time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but their parents are not teaching them appropriate cell phone use. Now, I say
That
that, and
starts
I,
with toddlers, like how many
Yeah.
toddlers do you see
Right.
with their face in an iPad or,
right.
it's like, they're
Right.
born that way.
And I say that, and he's on a phone right now, but
Yeah, he was playing cards a few minutes ago.
he was playing cards a
so-
few minutes ago, and when we go to a restaurant, they are not on devices,
Mhm.
they are not allowed to be.
I always find that so
Sometimes we
offensive
are.
and
Don't make that too personal, Mom.
I was at
He's
the
flossing.
I was at the
Healthy
peanut
kid.
bar
Yes,
again
I am.
this weekend, and a family of 5 came in, 3 kids and 2 parents. Everyone with their face down. And I noticed the
When you
waitress
have a
go
whole
over
table with a face
to
in their
take
phones.
the order, and they were ignoring her, and I
Nobody
just
knew
looked,
what they
it's-
wanted because they
it's
didn't
just-
even look at the menu, did they?
Mommy, I don't want to.
We went out
I
to
don't
dinner
wanna
the
do
other
that.
night at a really, was a subscription kind of dinner. So it was 5 courses, it was pricey. And there's a limited number of people, 35 people maybe. There was one table, man and woman, young man and woman came in. She was on her phone through their whole meal. He just sat there and occasionally he would smile and he would say something.
Were they on a
She'd
date?
look and answer him and then she'd go back. Now, first
So
of all,
rude.
they
That's
had to pay
disrespectful.
quite a bit of money for amazing food. And she was looking at it while she was eating. It was just amazing.
I just found that so sad.
It's
it is sad.
disrespectful to the
It's-
person
it
you're
is.
with.
And people have forgotten how to be in the moment then, you know, it's,
Right.
she couldn't be in that moment, she had to be distracting herself.
Right.
That's the saddest thing of all.
That indicates to me that she was not interested, that she's, oh, David.
Please choose the smallest couch.
Yeah, we don't have a whole seat over here, but that's all
Definitely
right.
could have over.
Here, have a seat. Let me take that.
So cute.
Oh, David.
So do we have anything
That's
on our
what she said
topic
in
list?
David.
We do. We haven't touched it.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's what David said.
That's the new show?
Oh, okay, probably
That's what
not.
David said.
That's what David said.
That's,
Okay.
that would
I've been
be-
munching on these peanuts that David brought, and I need to stop because I'm gonna react soon.
If you
Are you allergic to peanuts?
I am. So if my face turns bright red and purple, it, like,
Oh,
if you
that's
look,
okay.
if you look very closely at this, it looks like a cat that's laying down on the floor. I don't know.
Oh, don't say that. That's vicious. That's
Like
pretty
it does
gross.
look like a cat.
a
Like
fire
the
cat.
eyes and the Oh,
You know.
years ago.
I was just trying to set the mood, David. I was
So,
just putting the fire on.
I just made an observation. I was looking up at your clock to see, where are we at on time?
Oh no,
That clock doesn't work.
Nope.
Let's move.
That clock has a dead battery for about 4 years. Because it ticks loud and I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
So I don't
see.
replace it. Yeah,
That's funny.
It's loud. Like,
25?
Thank you.
yeah, I'm
Mary.
keeping an eye on the time. I'm good here. I'm watching.
I was just curious. I looked up and was like, that has said the same time both times I've looked
Yeah,
at it.
surprise. We don't have a concept of time here.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we
okay
normally
with
get
that.
carried
Just
away.
go.
Yeah,
Just go.
I rely on the phone for the time. If the phone ever sputters out, I'm in trouble.
Then we're down.
Let me
Yeah.
go.
Then we're down. Yeah, because I had another clock over on that wall over there, and I hit it with the broom, and it shattered into 100 million pieces. And that clock was also dead, no battery, because it ticks. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I don't want to, but I guess I do. You know, there was another quake in Turkey today.
There was
Yes,
another
I
one
heard
today.
that.
No.
6.25.
This is devastating.
Yeah, Turkey and,
Oh my
Turkey
Yeah.
and Syria.
Syria.
And,
That's scary. These people have already been like knocked down largely.
and
That's
the buildings that they have put up that were so substandard, I mean, that they did not, and all those people died.
What's
Many of
exposing
them
the
in
government corruption?
buildings that they never built properly, they didn't follow.
that's scary to find out.
And the death toll is over
Oh,
100,000 now.
yes, huge.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I didn't know there was
being
another
horrified
quake.
when it was
I
about
just saw it on my
38,000.
watch, my,
Yeah.
on the way to
It just seems every day the numbers are going up, and now after
Yeah.
today,
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
gonna
there's no-
skyrocket.
and I didn't get the details, I mean, I don't know
that's pretty high.
how
so that
close it
costs-
was to the other
The
one,
original
but
one.
Right,
wherever.
that might have already unsettled
Right,
the area.
right.
And that's
Right.
and that's too big to be an aftershock. Like that's
Right, no, that's.
And too
was a
late, like
real-
that happened
too
how many
late.
weeks ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, can I just ask one question?
One question.
Are you putting this on YouTube?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, you can watch us.
Ah,
on
so you
YouTube.
have your own channel. What is it called?
That's what
That's
she
what
said.
she said.
Okay, I'll watch it, I guess.
Oh, well, man on the street.
We have a
You
new
can watch
fan.
it, I guess.
Hey, buddy, you need to sit. Remember, we talked about this. There you go. Because the camera's coming in and you're blocking Sheila and Rusty. So can you please come sit back over here so that we can keep going, please? Thank you. So, what else is going on, ladies?
We have a whole list of stuff that we didn't even touch on. How about that owl that escaped from Central
Oh
Park?
my goodness,
Oh
isn't
my
that
gosh.
crazy?
And what is he? He's hunting on his own now, right?
Yes.
They have accounts
Yeah.
he's hunting.
Yeah, they said he's flying from Central Park north, or east to west, or north to south, and he's just staying in the park, and they're not gonna try to catch him.
They're
Because
just gonna
they
monitor
don't
him.
want to
Pretty.
interrupt him, they want, if he's gonna make that his
His
turf,
home.
they'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Good
And
for
they
him.
found, all kinds of rodents that he has managed to
Look
take
at
away.
him.
And
Do they
he seems
eat
to be
rodents?
quite
They
good.
Oh,
do,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Owls are scary. I saw one at the